Welcome back, travelers of myth and memory. If you've been following this tale from the beginning, you already know Troy is no longer just a city under siege. It's a world on the edge of disaster. Before we dive into the heart of the storm, I want to ask you something. Where in the world are you watching from today? Drop your city, your country, or even your favorite ancient civilization in the comments below. It's incredible to see this community grow across continents. And if you're enjoying this journey through history, myth, and lore, make sure to like this video and subscribe. It helps this series reach more people who love these stories as much as you do and ensures you won't miss what happens next. Because now, everything changes. The gods have chosen sides. The Greeks are fractured. Troy stands proud, but fate coils tighter around its walls. So settle in and let the firelight draw you closer. This is part 2. The climax, the turning point of the Trojan War, where heroes rise, tempers ignite, and the tide of destiny begins to crash. Let us return to the battlefield, where a whisper becomes a plague, a quarrel becomes a fracture, and the shadow of Achilles falls across the land. The climax. Welcome back to this tale of tragedy and triumph. We return now as the war presses toward its breaking point. Chapter 17. The Plague in the Camp. Years dragged on beside Troy's stubborn walls. Warriors who once strode proudly now moved with weariness etched into their shoulders. Young men grew old in the dust. Some died nameless. Others earned fleeting glories. Still the walls did not fall. Then came the whisper of sickness. It began with a cough, a fever, a shiver. Soon men collapsed in their tents, skin burning, breath rattling. Corpses grew in dreadful heaps each morning. Funeral pyres stained the sky with smoke and accusation. The stench of sickness clung to everything: clothing, soil, hope. Which god have we angered? Men muttered. Calchas came forward. It is Apollo, he said gravely. Agamemnon has insulted his priest. The god sends arrows of plague through our camp. Agamemnon's jaw tightened. He hated guilt pressed upon him. What must be done? Menelaus asked, voice taut. The girl Chryseis must be returned to her father, unharmed, without ransom, Calchas replied. Agamemnon bristled. Give up my prize while others keep theirs? No. If I must return her, I will take another, perhaps from Achilles. A murmur rippled, dangerous, sharp. Achilles' expression hardened. The storm inside him stirred. Chapter 18. The Quarrel of Kings. The council gathered under an unforgiving sky. The tension was a blade drawn across the air. Achilles stepped forward first. We suffer because of your greed, he told Agamemnon. Your pride kills your own men. Mind your tongue, Agamemnon warned. I'll speak truth, Achilles retorted. We bleed for your brother's cause while you hoard spoils like a petty tyrant. Agamemnon's voice dropped low. Remember yourself. I am High King here. Without me, there is no order. Without warriors, Achilles shot back, there is no war for you to command. Silence, thick as armor. Then Agamemnon pronounced the blow. I will return, Chryseis, but I will come to your hut and take Briseis in her place. Shock struck the council. Achilles went pale. Then red rage boiling fast enough to scorch the air. I should kill you, he whispered. The gods know it would satisfy my heart, but I will not spill your blood today. He turned, voice like molten metal. Take her, Take everything, but I will not fight for you again." Gasps spread. "You would abandon the war?" Agamemnon sneered. "I came for glory," Achilles said, "not slavery." He walked away. The Myrmidons followed like a dark tide. Briseis was taken in silence. Achilles watched, jaw clenched, grief and fury twisting together until they could no longer be separated. Chapter 19. The Silence of Achilles. Achilles vanished into his hut and into his bitterness. He ignored battle cries, messengers, calls for aid. His weapons hung untouched. His armor rested cold. The Greeks felt the loss like a wound. Battles faltered. Lines buckled. Without Achilles, their spear point, their terror, their symbol, their morale dimmed. The Trojans sensed the shift. Hector stood on the walls, watching Greek formations waver. "Their best warrior sulks," he observed. "Then the gods hand us an opening." Paris shifted uncomfortably nearby, still shadowed by guilt and Aphrodite's protection. "What's done is done," Hector told him. "Troy must fight as Troy is." Meanwhile, Achilles sat in his darkness, listening to distant screams and clashing metal. His conscience warred with his rage. Patroclus tried speaking to him quietly, patiently, but Achilles' storm could not yet decide whether to break open or collapse inward. The Greek camp became a body missing its heart. Chapter 20. Hector's Advance. Then the Trojans marched. Gates groaned open. Lines of warriors streamed forth, Aeneas, Sarpedon, Glaucus, and Hector at their head, gleaming and resolute. The Greeks scrambled to meet them. "Where is Achilles?" men shouted. "He isn't coming." The armies collided in a violent crash. Spears found flesh, shields split, horses screamed and reared. Hector fought like a man carrying a city on his back. He drove Menelaus back, clashed with Ajax, shattered formation after formation. By noon, the Greeks were retreating toward their defensive wall, the one they had hoped never to rely on. Dust choked the air. Pain mixed with fear. Inside his hut, Achilles listened to the sounds of dying men. Patroclus finally spoke. "You hear them. They are dying." "Agamemnon chose this," Achilles muttered. "Let him bear it." "Is it only Agamemnon who pays?" Patroclus asked. "Or all the men who trusted you?" Achilles flinched truth, striking deeper than any spear, but he said nothing. Chapter 21. The Embassy to Achilles. That night, when the day's carnage settled, the Greek chiefs gathered in desperation. They sent their greatest Odysseus, Ajax, Nestor, to Achilles' tent. Warm lamplight cast flickering shadows as they entered. Achilles regarded them with wary detachment. Odysseus spoke first, voice smooth as polished bronze. "We need you. The Trojans nearly reached the ships. Without you, we may lose everything. Agamemnon offers gifts, apologies, the return of Briseis untouched." Achilles' eyes hardened. "What is glory to a dead man? What good are gifts from someone who spits on my honor?" Nestor leaned forward. "Do not wait until you are old to regret what pride cost you." Ajax, blunt and steady, added, "Men are dying. They believed in you. Will you watch them fall because one king offended you?" Achilles stared into the lamplight, shadows trembling with him. "My mother foretold two fates," he said. "Die young, win glory, or live long, forgotten. Why should I die for a king who disrespects me?" Their silence was answer enough. Achilles shook his head. "No, I will not fight." The envoys left, carrying heavy failure. Outside, the camp murmured anxiously. Tomorrow's battle loomed grim. Chapter 22. Fire at the ships. At dawn the Trojans surged again, fiercer, bolder. Hector led them like a thunderbolt. Greek defenses cracked. The Trojan wave spilled over the walls into the narrow spaces between ships. Sails snapped, ropes whipped, warriors screamed. Flames caught on the timbers of a beached vessel. Achilles saw it from afar, the fire. The silhouettes struggling in thick smoke. Something tore inside him. "They will burn the fleet," Patroclus said. "If the ships fall, we cannot return home. All will die here." Achilles closed his eyes, one heartbeat of anguish, choice, and destiny. When he opened them, the storm within had settled into terrible resolve. "Take my armor," he told Patroclus. Patroclus blinked. "What?" "Wear it. Let them think Achilles has returned. Rally the Greeks. Drive the Trojans back from the ships. Let me go with you." "No," Achilles' voice cracked. "If I go and do nothing, they will lose hope. If I fight, my pride will only sow confusion. You must be Achilles today." Patroclus hesitated, then nodded. He donned the armor, horsehair helm, gleaming shield, divine greaves. He became Achilles' shadow made real. The Myrmidons roared when they saw him. Achilles watched his friend march away, wearing his name, his glory, and unknowingly his doom. Chapter 23. Patroclus in Achilles' armor. When the Trojans saw him, they faltered. A murmur rippled through their lines like wind stirring tall grass. "Achilles! Achilles has returned." Patroclus did not correct them. He struck. The Myrmidons slammed into the Trojan flank with disciplined fury, their black shields locked, their spears a deadly rhythm. Emboldened by the sight of Achilles' armor, they fought as if destiny itself marched beside them. Patroclus carved a path through the field. He felt the armor lending him more than protection, granting him the force of a legend. Trojan warriors hesitated, fearing the unstoppable wrath of the man they believed confronted them. "Achilles fights with us!" the Greeks cried, their terror transforming into renewed courage. Patroclus pressed onward. He met Sarpedon, son of Zeus. Their duel rang across the battlefield, two warriors circling with grave purpose. Spears clashed, shields groaned, muscles burned. Sarpedon's strength was divine, but Patroclus, driven by fear for his people and pride in Achilles' glory, found the opening first. His spear struck deep. Sarpedon fell, blood darkening the earth. Far above, Zeus watched his son die and did not intervene. Fate allowed no gentleness. Flushed with victory, Patroclus pushed harder. Trojans retreated toward the city, panic spreading like fire. He remembered Achilles' warning stop at the ships. Do not pursue them to the walls. But battle's momentum pulled him onward. Just a little further, he thought. If I break them here, the war may turn. He chased them toward Troy's gates. Chapter 24. The Death of Patroclus. Hector saw the warrior approaching. He'd heard the whispers, "Achilles has returned." He'd watched the devastation in the field, the Greek sudden resurgence. But as he watched Patroclus advance, something felt wrong. The movements were strong, but not quite Achilles. The stance held courage, but not the same lethal grace. Still, Hector knew, if this man Achilles or not continued his slaughter, Troy would fall before sunset. He stepped forward. "Face me!" he roared. The battlefield parted. Forming a rough circle beneath the blazing Sunday, Patroclus turned. They circled Achilles' armor gleaming, Hector's shield steady. Dust rose around them like ghosts, eager to witness the outcome. They clashed. Hector struck. Patroclus parried. Patroclus lunged. Hector deflected. Their movements were measured, skillful, driven by far more than personal pride. Twice, Patroclus nearly found an opening. Twice, Hector dodged with veteran precision. Then, fate intervened. Some say Apollo struck Patroclus from behind. Others say a Trojan spear wounded him, leaving him off balance. But whatever force guided events, Patroclus staggered just for a heartbeat. His grip slipped. His stance faltered. Hector saw the moment. He thrust with all the strength of a man defending his home, his family, his city. The spear pierced beneath Achilles' borrowed armor. Patroclus gasped, disbelief in his eyes as blood spread across the bronze. He fell to his knees. Hector approached, breath harsh. "Who are you?" he demanded. "Achilles?" "No," Patroclus whispered. "You have killed," Patroclus, and the world seemed to stop. Hector stepped back, shock flickering in his eyes, but the battle surged on around them. Nothing in war stays still for long. Patroclus fell face first into the dust. The sun burned overhead, indifferent. Chapter 25. The news reaches Achilles. The Greeks and Trojans fought over Patroclus's body. Both sides desperate, one to honor him, the other to disgrace Achilles by keeping the corpse. Hector stripped Achilles' armor from the fallen warrior, donning it himself like a trophy. Finally, Patroclus's body was retrieved and carried toward the Greek camp. Achilles saw the approaching figures, something laid across a shield, his breath stilled. "What is this?" he demanded. Silence, then a whisper. "It is Patroclus." The world collapsed inward. Achilles dropped to his knees beside the limp body. Dust clung to Patroclus's hair. His lips, always ready with a quiet smile or gentle counsel, lay parted in eternal stillness. A sound tore from Achilles, a raw animal cry that startled even hardened warriors. He clutched Patroclus's chest, as if grasping could drag the soul back into the body. Men turned away, ashamed to witness such agony. When Achilles spoke again, his voice was broken stone. "Who did this?" "Hector," someone whispered. Achilles pressed his forehead to Patroclus's cold skin. "I warned you," he whispered. "I told you not to go to the walls." But warnings did not matter now. Only vengeance did. He rose slowly, trembling with fury. "Hector dies," he said. "I will not rest until he is dead at my feet." Chapter 26. The new armor. Achilles needed armor to fulfill his vow. His own, the armor that had once gleamed with pride, now hung on Hector's shoulders. So Achilles called to his mother. He went alone to the shore, waves whispering around his feet. "Thetis!" he cried. "Mother!" The sea stirred. Foam rose. Thetis emerged, eyes sorrowful, hair flowing like tides. "You grieve," she said, "and I grieve with you. Patroclus's death opens the path I wished you would never walk." "He died because of me," Achilles said, because I let anger blind me. Now I must kill Hector." "And you will," Thetis murmured. "But hear me, my son. If you return to battle, your own death will follow soon after." "I know," Achilles replied. "Better a short life with honor than a long one without meaning." Tears shimmered in Thetis' eyes. "Then you must be armed as no mortal has ever been." She vanished beneath the waves. Far in the forge of Hephaestus, hammers rang like thunder. Bronze glowed white hot. Sparks flew, metal sang. He forged a breastplate of impossible depth. Greaves light as fate, and a shield a universe in itself. On that shield, cities at peace. Cities at war. Harvests and vineyards. Stars circling the heavens. Life and death etched into divine bronze. When Thetis brought the armor, it shone like lightning caught in metal. Achilles donned it, and the air seemed to tighten around him. Hope shivered. Fear stirred. Fate leaned closer. Chapter 27. Achilles returns to battle. Dawn broke over the Greek camp. Achilles stepped forward in his new armor, radiant and terrible. Men fell silent, some bowed, others gripped spears tighter. All felt the shift, the war's axis turning around this single man. Agamemnon approached, pride broken, grief humbling him. Achilles met him with calm fury. "I came to fight Troy," he said, "not to barter honor with kings. You wronged me. But that matters less than Patroclus' death. Today I fight for him." Agamemnon lowered his gaze. "If we survive this war, I will make amends. For now we must stand together." Achilles turned toward the field. The Greeks surged behind him, a roar rising like a storm wind. The Trojans advanced as well, Hector at their head, wearing Achilles' own armor. For a moment the battlefield seemed twin-mirrored, two champions destined to collide. Achilles struck first. He tore through Trojan ranks like a wildfire given legs. Spears shattered, shields splintered. Panic rippled through their lines. He drove warriors into the Scamander River. Its waters, choked with bodies, rose against him in mythic outrage, swelling, twisting, trying to drown him. But Achilles fought even the river, clawing back to shore, drenched and snarling. "Not even gods or rivers stop me today," he growled. He killed warrior after warrior, names that would live only in fragments of old songs. Through it all, Hector remained, and fate drew them together like magnets made of grief and rage. Chapter 28. Hector and Andromache. Inside Troy, as the battle raged outside, Hector returned to the city once more. He climbed to a high tower where Andromache waited, their young son in the nurse's arms. Her eyes were full of fear. "Your courage will kill you," she whispered. "You are Troy's hope. Every day you go out there, I fear it is the last time I'll see you." Hector took her hands. His own were rough, scarred, yet gentle. "If I hide inside these walls," he said, "what will people say? That Hector stayed safe while others died for him? I cannot bear that shame." "I don't care what they say," Andromache replied, tears burning. "I care that you live. You and this child are my city." The boy, Astyanax, reached for Hector's helmet and cried at the sight of the fearful horsehair crest. Hector laughed softly, removing the helm so his son could see his face. He kissed the child, then Andromache. "I know the risk," he said. "But if we all run, Troy will fall faster. If I don't fight, I die inside long before my body falls." He held her close, memorizing her warmth and scent, the tremble of her shoulders. "Whatever happens," he murmured, "remember I fought for you, for him, for Troy." "Then come back to us," she begged. He did not answer. He put on his helmet again and walked away carrying love, duty, and doom in the same heart. Chapter 29. The Duel. Before the gates. The day came when there was nowhere left for Hector to retreat. Troy's forces were battered. The Greeks pressed close. Achilles slaughtered Trojans like a scythe through grain. Hector knew, if he stayed behind the walls, his honor would die before he did. So he stood outside the Scaean gate, alone. From the ramparts, Priam, Hecuba, Andromache, and countless others watched, breath held tight in their chests. Across the plain, Achilles approached. Dust rose around his feet. Sunlight blazed on his divine armor. For a moment, Hector's courage wavered. He imagined running, darting back through the gate, letting others bear the brunt. He turned. He actually ran. Around the city they went, Hector fleeing, Achilles chasing, 3 full circuits of Troy. The people on the walls watched in stunned silence as their greatest warrior fled like prey. But he could not run forever. Some say Athena, in the guise of Hector's brother Deiphobus, tricked him into stopping. "Stand and face him," the false brother urged. "We will fight at your side." Believing he was not alone, Hector halted. He turned back to face Achilles. The illusion vanished. There was no Deiphobus, no ally, only Hector, alone with his fate. He straightened his shoulders. "All right," he whispered. "Enough running." He raised his spear and walked forward. Chapter 30. The Death of Hector. The two champions faced each other before Troy, within sight of every eye on the walls. Achilles' face was a mask of controlled fury. "Here you are," he said. "The man who killed Patroclus." Hector swallowed, but did not look away. "I killed your friend," he said. "I believed he was you. We both knew this would happen one day or another." "You will pay for him," Achilles replied. "Your death is the only gift I can give his shade." They closed the distance. Spears flashed, shields rang, bronze sang against bronze. Hector's spear cast first fierce. True, but it struck Achilles' shield and glanced aside. When he turned for another weapon, expecting help, he found only emptiness. No brother, no ally. He understood. He had been tricked. Fate had sealed him in. Still, he did not collapse. He adjusted his grip, braced himself. They joined again. Achilles' movements were almost inhuman, too fast, too precise. Hector blocked once, twice, 3 times. Sweat stung his eyes. Then Achilles fainted, drew Hector's shield aside, and drove his spear into the exposed gap at Hector's throat. The point burst through the other side. Hector choked, hands grasping at the wound as if they could dam the rushing river of his life. He fell to his knees, then onto the dust. Cries erupted from the walls. Andromache's scream, Hecuba's wail, Priam's torn voice. Achilles stood over Hector's body. "Die," he said softly, "knowing that Patroclus is avenged." But even as he spoke, a hollow truth pressed at his heart. Vengeance did not bring back what he had lost. His grief twisted into cruelty. Achilles pierced Hector's ankles, threaded thongs through them, tied them to his chariot. Before Troy's eyes, he mounted the chariot and drove, dragging Hector's body in a grisly circuit across the plain. Dust and blood marked the path. The people on the walls watched in helpless horror. In that moment, Achilles was more storm than man. Chapter 31. The Night of the Fallen. Darkness fell heavy over both camp and city. In the Greek camp, some celebrated Hector's death as a turning point, but many whispered uneasily about what they had seen the desecration of a noble enemy. Even in war, there were customs. Achilles had shattered them. Elsewhere, Achilles sat beside Patroclus's bier. He had ordered a grand pyre to be built for his friend. Around the body he laid treasures and spoils, locks of hair from companions, offerings meant to honor Patroclus in death. He spoke to the still face, as if it might answer. "I killed Hector for you," he murmured. "I dragged him like an animal. His body lies shamed, but you are still gone. I would trade everything, this armor, this glory, this whole war, to have you alive." The silence pressed in. In Troy, grief was raw. Priam's heart had been carved open. Andromache clutched empty air where Hector had once held her. The city's spirit sagged. Without its champion, its future seemed a narrow, dark path. Yet Troy still stood. Its walls remained, and as long as they did, the war was not over. Chapter 32. A King Among Enemies. That night, when many men slept from exhaustion and wine, one old king made a choice that would echo through all stories that followed. Priam of Troy, white-haired and broken by sorrow, wrapped himself in plain garments. He harnessed mules and horses to a cart loaded with treasures, gold, fine fabrics, gleaming cups. "I will go to Achilles," he said. His advisors protested. "It is madness. The Greek camp is full of men who would kill you on sight." "I am already half dead," Priam replied. "If I can bring Hector's body home, I will die as a father should." Guided, some say, by Hermes in disguise, Priam slipped through the dark plain, past Greek sentries, and reached Achilles' hut. He entered quietly. Achilles sat there, staring at nothing, his grief a heavy cloak. Priam did the unthinkable. He knelt. He took Achilles' hands, those same hands that had killed his son, and kissed them. "Do you know me?" Priam asked. "I am Priam, king of Troy. I have come to ransom the body of my son." Achilles stared, stunned. "I have endured what no man should," Priam continued. "I watched my child dragged in the dust. I beg you give him back so I may bury him." He lifted his eyes. "Remember your own father, Peleus. Think of how he would feel if he heard his son lay unburied in a foreign land. Would he not do what I do now?" The words pierced Achilles more deeply than any spear. Achilles' breath shook. For the first time since Patroclus' death, his rage cracked enough for grief to spill through. He saw Priam not as a king, not as an enemy, but as a father, one who had lost the son he cherished. Slowly, Achilles lifted Priam to his feet. "You are brave," he said hoarsely, "braver than any warrior I have slain. You have made me remember my own father's face." Tears rose in both their eyes, one mourning a friend, one a son. Long they wept together, two enemies united by love and loss. At last, Achilles spoke. "I will return Hector's body to you. Keep your treasures. This is not about gold." Priam bowed deeply. Achilles ordered Hector's body to be washed and anointed. He helped wrap it, his hands gentle where earlier they had been merciless. Before dawn, Hector's body lay on Priam's cart, ready to be taken home. "One more thing," Achilles said softly. "There will be a truce. No Greek will attack Troy while you bury him." Priam touched his arm in gratitude. Guided once more through the sleeping camp, he returned to the gates of Troy. Chapter: The Heart of the Storm. Hector was buried with lamentation. The city filled with wails, garments were torn, ashes smeared on skin. Andromache wept until her voice failed. Hecuba raged against the gods. Helen mourned with guilt shadowing her eyes. The pyre burned high flames leaping toward the pale sky. From afar, the Greeks watched the smoke rise. For a brief moment, the plain grew still. But war does not end for mourning. Achilles sat alone, hollow but calm. He had taken vengeance. He had given mercy. He had done everything his heart could bear, and still he felt the shadow of his own fate creeping near. He knew with the clarity that comes only to those who have seen the worst and best of themselves that his own time was running short. Somewhere in the tangle of fate, an arrow was already being nocked, a vulnerable heel already chosen. But that would come later. For now, the war hovered at its climax. Hector, Troy's greatest defender, lay in the ground. Achilles, Greece's fiercest attacker, still walked the earth but marked for death. Both sides had lost what they most cherished. Both knew there was no path left but forward, through more blood, toward an end none could yet fully see. The storm had not passed. It had reached its most violent height. The next and final act would not be about how the war burned, but how it ended. The cunning of a wooden horse, the fall of towers, and the flight of survivors. The fates of those who had survived the climax only to face the cost of victory or the ruin of defeat. But that belongs to the third telling. For now, the heart of the Trojan War stands revealed. Not just in walls and spears and conquered ground, but in the rage of Achilles, the courage of Hector, the tears of kings and fathers and friends, and the brief, fragile mercy that flickers even in the darkest of battles.